Hey guys, welcome back to Judo Highlights. The TBILISI Grand Slam is all said and done. Day 3, and I gotta say again, Day 3 definitely my favorite, although Day 2 and Day 1 were pretty damn good. So we're gonna start with the Georgians, and Tesphilishvili, we'll start with him at plus 100. He just came out every contest, just looked to destroy people within the first minute if he could. Maybe he's kind of realized that his strength and explosiveness is his best asset. I mean, I think he's technically amazing, but later on in the rounds when his stamina is kind of depleted, probably doesn't do as well as he does at the beginning of these matches. And look at this, driving also Bugatti. And every contest was just like this. Whenever he went for a throw, he was just 100% committed. Now have a look at this one. And if someone makes a grip like that, of course the Seoinage is coming. And Kazibayev, I mean, he tried to counter it, but Tesphilishvili stayed strong, transitioned into the newaza beautifully. The final against Bei Udi, much of the same. Just a blistering Seoinage. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Shaza Dhilly the day before. Just going into the newaza, even if you get the ippon, just making sure, just being committed and really aggressive. So we'll talk about the rest of plus 100 soon, but before that we'll have a look at Bei Udi. Now Bei Udi, I mean, he has some strange judo. A lot of what he does is really creative. And he likes to get into these situations where, I mean, it could be either guy, and then he's kind of rolling with it, and he often gets a score. It's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like he's baiting people into making a move, and then he wants to not really counter, but go in for something at the same time, and then he usually comes out on top with a score. Now in this contest here, Wazadi down, and then manages to get this awkward looking Uchimata going. So Wazadi a piece. And then the next exchange, I mean, he just kind of does the same thing. Enough for Wazadi here, and Talibov's kind of waving it off, but I mean, it's just weird how he lulls people into these situations and makes them play his game. Now this here, I really like this. So I reckon people should start doing this instead of Sumigaishi, defending Seoinages, drop down Seoinages, and using it in this way, it looks a bit safer than the standing variation, and I do like to see people getting punished for dropping down to the ground. Kind of stops the flow, and anything to kind of take advantage of those kind of mistakes that people make, it's good in my opinion. This next contest against Celidis, he's got 2 shidos on the board, and so you can kind of understand why he went for this Kataguruma, but Bei Udi just kind of forcing people into these situations. If I did not have 2 shidos against my name there, I would definitely not attempt something like that. And lastly, this is the final. Big technique in the final from Bei Udi against Hajiev. Now have a look at this also Togari. I mean, that's great stuff, and the grips as well, very unique. Have a look at it again, and just watch how he closes the distance with his hips. Takes the grip and then just sucks him in. And Hajiev, he's barely got a grip by the time Bei Udi goes in. Look at that. So 2 golds for the Georgians on day 3, which is absolutely amazing. But there was also another one, I guess, Georgian by descent, Shaza Dhilly. Now I do think one of these guys should have got done for head diving. From this angle, it's a little bit hard to see where Shaza Dhilly's shoulder lands, but I've seen Hansogomake given for people's hair barely touching the tatami. But anyway, Shaza Dhilly, he's got to be one of the greatest stories heading into the Paris Olympics. Coming up from under 90, had a really hard time just getting wins, just dealing with the strength of people. But you can see he's just really figured it out, gotten a lot stronger, and now he's winning. Actually, looking at his last 3 competitions, he's made the final twice, and then here at TBILISI taking gold. So that's an absolutely incredible run, and I think now you'd probably pick him as one of the favorites to win at the Paris Olympics. Now in the final, he was against Al Nahas from Canada. Now Al Nahas, he hasn't had the best results as of recently. Grand Slam Baku, Grand Slam Paris, early exits, but he put together a real nice compilation of throws at TBILISI. Have a look at this Kochi, you don't see that, a lot of under 100s. Nice Uchimata here, on the return from a Seoinage. And I want to see more exchanges like this. I think if we change the rules a little bit to stop people dropping down whenever they can, and forcing people to stand up, we'll see more exchanges like this. And here's another Kochi. So Al Nahas doing really well, and it's a good time to start peaking in 2024, heading into the Olympics. Now for the bronze medals at under 100s, we had Veg, and Veg took out Japaridze from Georgia, but Japaridze had a few good throws off his own. Have a look at this, really nice counter to the Seoinage here. And this guy is only 20 years of age, so I imagine The Georgian's sending them out here at Tbilisi, testing the waters, and he's probably someone we'll see more in the future. Gotta love the stash as well. Keep that facial here, that is awesome. Nice fake here, turns it into a low. Uranage, enough for a Wazari. And then have a look at this. In the next exchange, a big Uranage, which is just classic Georgian stuff to see, isn't it? Look at that, unbelievable. So Japaride, someone to watch out for. Definitely someone I'm gonna keep an eye out for at the next tournament. And here's the last bronze medal contest at under 100s. And Boiler, he took out Bozbaev for a bronze medal. We'll quickly go to plus 100s before we talk about under 90s. Under 90s, a lot of exciting stuff to talk about there. So Tesphilishvili with the gold and Bei Udi taking a silver. For the bronze medals, we had Granda and Inayashvili. So we'll move down to under 90s now, and it's kind of surprising that we're this deep into the video and I haven't talked about this huge upset. Bobanov went out in his first contest against Florentino. Now Florentino, he's got this kind of sumigaishi that he was looking for. He eventually caught Bobanov with it and then stayed in front for the rest of the match. So that's a bit unfortunate for Bobanov. I hope he makes a quick turnaround and we see him soon. Now Florentino ended up against Han from Korea, who eventually took one of the bronze medals. Now have a look at this match. I'll play it in its entirety, but I thought it was funny. Florentino running at Han, and then Han taking a grip, and a beautiful Seoinage. Now Han's bronze medal match, it was two Koreans at under 90s, which is very rare to see, battling it out against each other. Han won by Shido against Lee. I've seen Lee before, so Korea developing a little bit of depth at under 90s. And then the other bronze medal went to Selidis, who took out Florentino. So Florentino's day started off well, could have finished a little bit better. And before I forget, Hajiev took a silver. Some good counters earlier on, which is surprising. You know, you can be this good at countering people, but when you come up against Bakauri Lasha, he just shows you that there are levels to this game. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Kret versus Tajima. This was an absolute battle. Go on to JudoTV if you want to see the match. It went on very long, deep into golden score. Both guys, 2 Shidos to their name. And Tajima pulls out this technique and I stopped watching. I turned it off, went and did something else. I thought he was into the next round. And then I found out later on that he got done for head diving. So this, very disappointing. I mean, Tajima, he learned this technique when this was okay. And so he's used to being able to do this. He's done it a million times before. It's not dangerous to him, but those are the rules. So that was a bit disappointing. Although it was a good match. Go watch that one if you got the time. Moving on to under 78 now. Kurchenko, she took gold against Steenhuis. Now I'm kind of seeing on Instagram that maybe Kurchenko was training where Ebinuma has been at recently. So I'm not sure what kind of a influence he had on her judo, but it's great to see. She got a gold medal. Steenhuis taking a silver. And then for the bronze medals we had Bohm and Litvinenko. Litvinenko, someone who I've kind of got my eye on. She's taken 3 bronze medals in her last 3 tournaments, so those silvers and those golds will definitely come at some point. She's still very, very young. Up at plus 78 now, and I was kind of surprised. Sone Akira, she lost. She lost in the semi-final and lost in the bronze medal match against Lee. Lee, a very young Korean, so that's exciting to see. Tavano from Italy, she took the other bronze. And then Heimi, a silver, meeting Luch from Germany in the final. Luch with a really nice Kosotogake here. It's hard to take down big people with this technique. And she does it well, look at that. Knee behind the knee, good drive, and the kumite perfect as well. So that's it for day 3, guys. Stay tuned, there's going to be a Top Epons video coming soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.